Here it is March 10th. Wind is blowing as far as it does in March. I'm on my second mowing of this lawn, and you can see the results. For those of you who watched my fall fertilization video from last year, you will probably know exactly the fertilizers that I am using to get these type of results so incredibly early in the year. In addition, it's warm, unseasonably warm right now. We're expecting thunder showers in early March this afternoon, this evening, and tonight. This fertilizer is a temperature dependent release. And because these warm weather came in, it is now releasing into and giving me these results and this incredible growth coming out of winter. Got to admit, guys have been doing this for over 35 years. I've done golf course grow-ins. I've done maintained both sports turf and golf courses and obviously home lawns. In my opinion, and some of you that maybe haven't watched the channel before are going to be shocked, as I was, of the source that it is or the brand that it is. I got it. I've used all of them. But this is by far the best fertilizer, the most complete fertilizer, particularly for nitrogen, that I have seen in the last 35 years.
I'm going to break down this nitrogen fertilizer and its components. In doing so, you're really going to understand and be able to read the tag of any fertilizer bag, particularly its nitrogen component. So this is going to not only tell you how this fertilizer works, but make you a much better shopper when you're out looking for particularly nitrogen fertilizers on your own. So let me break this down for you real quick. The first component of this fertilizer is the stabilized urea. What stabilized urea does is it prevents the urea from volatilizing. You can actually lose nitrogen to the atmosphere if you're putting on a water-soluble fertilizer. It can actually volatilize in anywhere significantly in 24 to 72 hours after you put it on. So they put a stabilizing agent in there to prevent that so it can actually be watered down in the soil. The microbes start working on it, and then it becomes plant available to the turf. That's the kicker when you first put it on there, that first initial reaction that you get out of the stabilized urea component. The next two, one of them is a sulfur-coated urea.
Thing is, whenever you see a fertilizer bag, you'll see the back of it. It'll say polymer sulfur-coated urea. Almost all sulfur-coated ureas have a polymer coating on it. It has nothing to do with the release of it. That is just a very, very thin coating they put on that sulfur coating. So during the manufacture, distribution, bagging, and ultimately by the time it gets in your spreader and gets put out, that sulfur coat is protected so it doesn't crack, and the integrity of that is still together, so to speak. Generally feed anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. They are a water-based release, meaning the water eventually works its way in through that sulfur coating. The sulfur coat gets into that urea. The moment the water hits urea, it pops, expands, cracks that sulfur coating. And the sulfur coating will vary depending on the size of that urea particle that actually, by design, if you will, they'll actually put different coating or different sizes of urea in that in when they're manufacturing sulfur-coated urea, so you get different thicknesses, so it does release over that time frame. If they were all exactly the same size, they released basically within a few days of one another.
Third component, this is where the temperature-dependent release comes in, is the polymer coating on the urea.
And depending on the temperature, it actually has pores in that polymer coating that as temperature increases, those pores get bigger and release through osmosis, basically that liquid urea at that time back into the soil, and then it's plant available.
So what has happened over the last 4 months is when I put it out in October, fed me the first 6 weeks with that sulfur coating, which feeds for 6 weeks, the stabilized nitrogen, that initial kick, and then the polymer only released when the temperatures were right for it to actually release the nitrogen in the soil. That's where I got the huge advantage over than everybody else with that polymer coating over the last few days during those 75-degree temperatures. Those of you that followed my advice last October after my "This is a must-do" video, leave the comments down below. Also, leave comments down below of anything that I have helped you with in 2025. I'm curious to know the feedback from you of things that have been helpful, and try to leave at least one comment of something you would like to see on the channel. Even if it's beyond me, keep it to turfgrass. I'm curious of what you'd like to see on the channel in 2026. Now you have a 3003 and then you have a 2503. What is the difference between these two? The 2503 actually has broadleaf weed control, grassy weed control, and pre-emergent herbicide in it, in the forms of 2,4-D-dicamba for broadleaf weeds, Quinclorac for grassy weeds, particularly young crabgrass, and Dithiopyr, which is a pre-emergent herbicide. One thing about Dithiopyr, and I'm going to bring this up in my seeding video that's coming up, my spring seeding video, is give you two publications down below on Dithiopyr. Kansas State publication down below cites a study that was done on tall fescue. They actually applied Dithiopyr post pre-emergent herbicide on new tall fescue that had germinated 14 days prior, and it did not hurt the tall fescue. Another study, you see where they actually put Dithiopyr 10 days after emergence, DAE, after the seed germinated, and 14 days, DAE, on bluegrass. And the Dithiopyr did not harm the bluegrass. That's why I'm recommended in my seeding video, that spring seeding video, because you have post-emergent herbicides for broadleaf weed control, grassy weed control, and the pre-emergent herbicide in there as well that'll take you through the entire summer on cool season grasses. Having the Quinclorac in there also gives you a lot of flexibility of when you're actually going to apply it. You can apply this mid-May to mid-June. The Quinclorac will control any type of crabgrass that happen to germinate over that period of time, and it gives you the flexibility to do that. Quinclorac is an outstanding grassy weed control on young crabgrass and old crabgrass. It doesn't control middle-aged crabgrass. So after July 15th, depending on where you live, further south, a little earlier than that, really July 15th, the crabgrass is too mature for it, and it'll actually metabolize that quinclorac and it won't control it. That's why oftentimes you'll see some products online. There was a comment that was given in June when a quinclorac product was applied and how well it worked. And in July, the same product put on, granted by a different person, they said it didn't work worth a darn. That's why. So this is an effective tool to give you a great nitrogen application and outstanding weed control of just about any weed you'd have in your yard. Then a residual of a very safe pre-emergent herbicide you can put on in a yard and does a great job. Just a heads up on this, since it has 2,4-D in it, it is not for Centipede or for St. Augustine. Always read the label on any product that you put on to make sure it's compatible with the turf in your yard. If you're wondering where I'm getting these stripes, and you may have noticed at the beginning of the video, I am mowing the yard with a robot lawnmower. I've looked at many different brands, probably as least 5, maybe as many as 7. I have lost count. I've looked at a lot of these robot lawnmowers. You can actually see them on my Amazon storefront robot lawnmower list. Out of all that list, if you have a really, really hilly yard, the Limo is a good one. It's built with the tank tracks. It actually has front blades on them, just like a lawnmower. It's a pretty sturdy mower. However, I will say the two that I like the best. Mammotion makes a great mower. However, its turn radius is kind of funny. When you have those wheels inside the wheels, they kind of turn real quick and they can at the edge damage their lawn. However, the Mammotion, the one thing they have done, they've allowed that mower to do a 3-point turn because of that. More or less, my favorite is between Ecovacs and Anthbot. Anthbot is what's given me these stripes and all these videos and all my thumbnails. And I will say with the new pardon me, the Quinclorac, the new Ecovacs, they actually have matched Anthbot in their stripe, and they really are very precise, just like the Anthbot. Look at the certain price points. I actually have a robot lawnmower list on my channel if you want to see all the robot lawnmowers that I have reviewed. However, I'd steal you if you're looking for it towards the Anthbot and the Ecovacs. Any of those, I think you'll be very happy with, and they're actually pretty good companies with pretty good customer service too. So you can't go wrong with them if you're in the market for those. So how I'm going to use it is I'm going to go out with a 3003 here sometime in mid-April. That will feed my cool season grasses well into August, and I will make my second application probably sometime there around October after any overseeding I do. I could even do it a little sooner than that. On the bag, it says it feeds up to 6 months, and I would give a caveat to that that depends on how high the temperatures get during the summer. And I think that's a little bit of marketing and packaging. Being honest with you here,
Yeah, you can make the claim it feeds you for 6 months because when I'm putting this out in October, yeah, it probably will be feeding me for 6 months. But when you put it out probably in the mid-springtime, it's only gonna feed you for probably, I'm gonna say 12 to 18 weeks ballpark. It's not gonna make 6 months, just being truthful with you here. Now on my Bermuda grass, what I do is I typically go out with a very high rate right after green up. I go out at around 2 to 2.5 pounds of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. I know that's very high. Now, on the 2503, can't do that because it's got the herbicide in it. Have to follow that label, and you cannot exceed the label rates on that fertilizer that has the herbicide in it. However, with this 3003, and because Bermuda grass can really absorb almost as much nitrogen as you got, and there's very few soluble salts that you're really putting out with this fertilizer that is immediately available. That's where you get fertilizer burn, is when you get these salts that go out, and it's really more than what the grass and the environment can handle. But that's not going to be the case because this is one, a small component of stabilized urea, and you have the sulfur and now polymer coated urea that are going to feed you over that 12-week plus period. You're not going to have too much going out there to where it will burn the grass. Now, for those of you with Centipede, you got to be aware you only need a half pound of nitrogen per year. And that's one of these things. A little bit on Centipede, you might want to think about going organic fertilizers because really you only need about a half a pound to most a pound of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. This is an option that you could have in Centipede, but if I had Centipede, I'd probably go organic. On this fertilizer, I would not go past July 15th on this fertilizer with warm season grasses. Reason being is it will continue to feed well into September. And if you go into dormancy, you don't want to be feeding any fertilizer 6 weeks from dormancy. Do keep that in mind. The advantage with the polymer coating, particularly with warm season grasses, if you go out with just a sulfur coated product, it's only going to feed for that definitive 6 weeks. And then during that time, it's going to continue to steadily go down. With the polymer coating, it will actually go up and feed more and more and more the warmer it gets, which is the optimum time for a warm season grass to feed, particularly during those summer rains. Price. Here's where the kicker is. You got to understand this is a 3003 with the nitrogen source. You only need 3 pounds of this product to get you really a pound of nitrogen. That's it. If you look at other fertilizers and you start doing the math, even a 25% or a 21%, at 25%, you'll need 4 pounds of that product per 1,000 square feet. 20% product, you're going to need 5 pounds per 1,000 square feet. That's where you really need to do the math whenever you're looking at fertilizers is what is the percentage of nitrogen? And I typically don't exceed 30% nitrogen. The reason being is the other thing I forgot to mention is particle size on this fertilizer is the same size particle size that I put on fairways and tees golf course. That is a significant thing when you're looking at fertilizers. If the particle size is very large, like you have in agricultural products, like you'll get at your local ag store, those particle sizes will throw much further and they'll be scattered and won't give you that good uniform coverage that you want on a fine turf area. The SGN size guide number on this product is around 120 to 150 SGN, right in the sweet spot of exactly where everybody needs to be, regardless of if you mow at a half inch, like I would do on a tee or a fairway, clear up to a 4 inch height of cut. That is the great thing about this fertilizer as well. Its size is uniform. And I can tell you the particle size are very uniform as well. Now, the big reveal, believe it or not, it's from Lowe's. It's StayGreen Max. And honestly, I've got this on my Lowe's storefront. You guys can go there, order it, make sure you got the right thing, get it for pickup, and pick it right up. This fertilizer also has micronutrients in it. It also has humic acid. For some of you guys who like humic acid and putting it out on your lawn, I have not seen I have not seen a there's very, very few fertilizers that I've seen with polymer coating in it. And it's very rare to see a fertilizer, granular fertilizer, particularly with a humic acid in it. That is really unique. It is really a complete package fertilizer. But I can tell you, if you're looking for weed control, with the exception of Centipede and St. Augustine, the 2503 is a great option, providing you're not going to seed for the next 3 months because it does have that Dithiopyr in it. Folks ask me what's the best fertilizer. There you go. If you subscribe and hit the bell, here I am in March talking about spring green up, nitrogen fertilizers, getting a lot of questions already on the Facebook page. I actually have a Facebook page. If you guys want to cruise over there, you can take pictures of your yard and ask questions. I try to be on there every morning to see everyone's post. And yes, I read all of them and I read every single comments down below and I try to respond to all of them. So if you have any questions, leave it in the comments. Let me know the nitrogen sources that you're using. I'm really curious as to taking a bit of a survey and understanding what you guys are doing. I'm agronomist Greg Phillips. Appreciate your watching and hope you like the new studio. I was going to do this outside, but it is really cold. And we're going to be doing, I think I may be doing some podcasts yet this year. I know I've been threatening that the last couple of years, but maybe here in June, we might be getting the podcast. Got a new microphone. You guys have been saying stuff about my sound, and I'm getting a little bit better in my editing and everything else. So I hope you've noticed. And I'm trying to do that for you guys to make it more enjoyable. Anyway, I'm agronomist Greg Phillips. Thanks for watching.